Hello, good evening, everyone. We are on the last week of the book and we are on week 27. Congratulations to all of you who've been here studying and growing. And we know we have a wonderful, learning lessons for life. And the recordings are always available on YouTube. So whenever you miss on something or you have no clarity, you can always go and check those recordings, revisit the moments, and you love what all we discussed and how we all, you know, grew up actually mentally. So today is the last this lesson of the book, and we had yet to finish the previous chapter, and we were on the points to remember that the steps this way. So let us just start from that. Point number 11. So this is session 1 of week 27, and let's continue. Yes, Shilpi.
Okay, point 11. The great law of substitution is the answer to fear. Whatever you fear has its solution in the form of your desire. If you are sick, you desire health. If you are in prison of fear, you desire freedom. Expect the good, mentally concentrate on the good, and know that your answers subconscious mind answers you always. It never fails. Point 12. The things you fear do not really exist except as thoughts in your mind. Thoughts are creative. This is why Job said, "The thing I feared has come upon me. Think good and good follows." Point 13. Look at your fears. Hold them up to the light of the reason. Learn to laugh at your fears. This is the best medicine. Point 14. Nothing can disturb you but your own thought. The suggestions, statements, or threats of other persons have no power. The power is within you. And when your thoughts are focused on that which is good, then God's power is with your thoughts of good. There's only one creative power and it moves as harmony. There are no divisions of quarrels in it. Its source is love. This is why God's power is with your thoughts of good.
So interesting chapter we had learned about fear. So what he's saying, the important thing is learn to laugh at your fears. See, it is actually reversing the energy. Somewhere you are fearful and you are asked to laugh at it. That it is just nothing, it is like a bubble of fear, that which you have broken. So you can only laugh at it only when you understand that there is a higher power which is there to overcome everything. Right? So then he's saying the great law of substitution is to answer to fear. Whatever you fear has its solution in the form of your desire. So if you're sick, you desire health. So it is there. If you are prison of fear, you desire freedom. Expect the good. Mentally concentrate on the good and know that your subconscious mind answers you always. It never fails. It never fails. So we have to look forward to overcome whatever mental challenges we had, whatever mental challenges we have, and we start telling ourselves everything will work out. It is easy. And I am not fearful. I am brave enough. They say that focus on the good. That means don't focus on the fears, focus on the outcome, focus on the result. And the result is that you are healthy. Instead of, speaking the entire day about the sickness, if you start telling yourself that you are fine and you stop telling the stories of your sickness, the sickness never exists then because it has gone out of your consciousness. And what is in your new consciousness is your health, right? So anything, anybody has any question about the previous chapter, or otherwise we start with the new one today? See, this is there he's saying in the point 12, he's saying the things you fear do not really exist except as thoughts in your mind. What a powerful statement. Except as thoughts in your mind. They do not really exist. So most of the fear which is existing is just a thought. And that thought makes us so fearful about some future activity that makes us anxious, anxiety. full of tension, stress. It is only a thought. If we start thinking in a different way, that if this is a thought, what is the next thing I can focus on? I can focus on something being good. And then we have to train our mind. This is what he's saying. You have to train your mind that your subconscious mind answers you always. Concentrate on the good, and you know that your subconscious mind answers you always. It never fails. Right? Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay, I thought I lost the connection. Okay, yes. So let's continue with a new chapter today, how to stay young in the spirit forever. Very interesting chapter. As we age, people who are very stressed out are actually aging much faster than the one who are very easygoing. Mostly, we have family members who are very easygoing, and we always tell them they don't take life seriously. ये कुछ भी seriously नहीं लेते हैं. मतलब वो हर चीज को मजाक में उड़ा देते हैं. But believe me, the people who do that are much in a happier state of manifesting good things rather than who take everything seriously. Right? So let's understand the spirit of staying young, because this is the lesson for life for all of us. Stay young. No cosmetics, just stay young. Yes, continue, Shipul.
How to stay young in spirit forever. Your subconscious mind never grows old. It is timeless, ageless, and endless. It is a part of the universal mind of God, which was never born and it will never die. Fatigue or old age cannot be predicated on any spiritual quality or power. Patience, kindness, veracity, humility, goodwill, peace, harmony, and brotherly love are attributes and qualities which never grow old. If you continue to generate these qualities here on this plane of life, you will always remain young in spirit. I remember reading an article in one of our magazines some years ago, which stated that a group of eminent medical men at the D. Corsi Clinic in Cincinnati, Ohio, reported that years alone are not responsible for bringing about degenerative disorders. These same physicians stated that it is the fear of time, not time itself, that has a harmful aging effect on our minds and bodies, and that the neurotic fear of effects of time may well be the cause of premature aging. During the many years of my public life, I have had occasion to study the biographies of the famous men and women who have continued their productive activities into the years well beyond the normal span of life. Some of them achieved their greatness in old age. At the same time, it has been my privilege to meet and to know countless individuals of no prominence who, in their lesser sphere, belong to those hardy mortals who have proved that old age of itself does not destroy the creative powers of the mind and body.
See, old age of
So it's
itself does
just a
not,
myth.
yes,
Yes.
old age itself does not destroy the creative mind. Because see, we are not the
Hmm.
mind and the body. Before we started this session, me and Sandhya, we were talking about the same thing, that the mind and body is different from the soul. So the soul and the spirit is always young. So this is why he's saying how to stay young in spirit forever. In spirit, that means in soul consciousness. That means detach yourself from the body and think, I am walking through this body. This whatever I'm going to enjoy through my senses is actually through this body only, right? But the life is eternal. So when we leave this body, we'll take another birth. But for the time being, what is important is health. What is important is mindset. So how that is why he's saying, so when we have a good mindset, all the spirit is not going the spirit will be enthusiastic. It will be very functioning in a very creative manner, and you are actually enjoying things. So when only when we start creating perceptions from actually taken away from the people who are very sad, who are very depressed, so that is their state of mind, and that comes to the body, right? So this is what says some of them achieve their greatness in old age. At the same time, like we can say, like the person who invented KFC, he started that at the age of 65, where people actually retire and tell, I'm not going to do, I worked my whole life, now I want to relax, I want to leave. What happens is that time we just quit everything and we just leave it. So it does not mean, you can do something productive, or even then, if you are enjoying your life, you should not allow that age that you are useless or worthless of anything. Right? So this is something good to understand, that how we have to. In fact, you have old people around you as your family members, and if you carry the same beliefs, if they are carrying the same belief that old age after 60 this is going to happen, after 40 this is going to happen, it's only a belief. We already start degenerating because of these thoughts. Otherwise, if we have seen people in various countries, they are always walking, working, happy, even they are exercising at the age of 90, 95, and they stay young because they live through the spirit. Right? So let's continue. He had grown old in his in his thought life.
A few years ago, I called on an old friend in London, England. He was over 80 years of age, very ill, and obviously was yielding to his advancing years. Our conversation revealed his physical weakness, his sense of frustration, and a general deterioration almost approaching lifelessness. His cry was that he was useless and that no one wanted him. With an expression of hopelessness, he betrayed his false philosophy: we are born, grow up, become old, good for nothing, and that's the end. This mental attitude of futility and worthlessness was the chief reason for his sickness. He was looking forward only to senses, and after that, nothing. Indeed, he had grown old in his thought life, and his subconscious mind brought about all the evidence of his habitual thinking. So, as he was thinking, so was he becoming.
Yes. See, the mental attitude of futility and worthlessness. Most of them, most of the people, when they retire at the age of 60 from their work or their job, they are actually thinking the same thing, Then when we have retired, now everything is on the kids. They'll take the responsibility. They'll take the responsibility, but that does not mean that you retire from life. There are many things, we had many hobbies. I suppose when we had many hobbies and we were not able to pursue at that time, and then at that moment we start thinking, अब तो mind ही नहीं चलता. Now the body is not aligned. So we have started at the early age. See, the impressions of the mind start after after seeing so many people around us in the similar. So we also start thinking the same. So the awareness is that even if I retire from things, from my duties, I'm still not retiring from my life. So a healthy lifestyle can be very well maintained, right? Yes, continue, Shruti. Anybody has to say something? Manisha, Ritika, Akriti, Sandhya, किसी के आसपास, anybody has elder people, have you heard elder people saying such things?
Hmm. Yes, most of them they have the same notion.
Hmm. कि अब तो हो गया, on this is done.
अब तो हो गया। अब हमने तो अपना देख लिया, अब तुम अपना देखो।
हम्म नहीं, तुम अपना देखो इज फाइन, सी अपना तो हमने देखना ही है, बट अपना देखने के बाद यू शुड नॉट लीव योरसेल्फ to the
Yes.
becoming, feeling yourself useless or unworthy or unloved, or
Hmm.
attracting too much of me care, self care. Instead, one should be very active and enjoy that age very gracefully. We'll read that points in the upcoming ones, and this one, if you have people around, you should circulate this last video to all the senior citizens to hear that what this book has been prescribing all of us how to live through the spirit, because we need elders. It is not that they have actually become useless, but they start thinking that way. Then the other person doesn't have a control on your mind, no? So we can only tell them. So this is the best way to, motivate them that, yeah, you are worthy. You are worthy of every good thing. So start enjoying. Maybe go out for walks, do something productive. Play with children, teach if you can, do something which is very creative, and you can foster. Yes, continue.
Age is the dawn of wisdom. Unfortunately, many people have the same attitude as this unhappy man. They are afraid of what they term old age, the end, the extinction, which really means that they are afraid of life. Yet life is endless. Age is not the flight of years, but the dawn of wisdom. Wisdom is awareness of the tremendous spiritual powers in your subconscious mind and the knowledge of how to apply these powers to lead a full and happy life. Get it out of your head once and for all that 65, 75, or 85 years of age is synonymous with the end for you or anybody else. It can be the beginning of a glorious, fruitful, active, and most productive life pattern, better than you have ever experienced. Believe this, expect it, and your subconscious will bring it to pass.
Hmm. See, age is the dawn of wisdom. So anybody of you speak, Manisha, Sandhya, Ritika, Akriti, you have parents around, you have elders around.
See, I would like to share something. We have lots of lines also, matlab, made up on this age pattern. Like it says, age is just a number,
Hmm.
aging like a old wine.
No, but one thing is also there. We have got a fixed denomination in our mind कि 50 के बाद में थोड़ी बीमारियां आई जाती है. That is very bad. या फिर
Yes.
ग्रे हेयर आ ही जाता है around 45 50. So
Hmm.
ultimately we are instructing from the 20s, we are instructing a body कि भाई तुम्हें 50 में आऊँ, कुछ ये कर देना और कुछ वो कर देना है. It's
Ah,
getting manifested.
Hmm,
yes.
So this is the silliest thing
right.
we guys are doing.
Yes. So that is what, see, as now we are around near about mid 40s. Okay. So even we start thinking that we should stop telling our children something like consciously that we should not create such thoughts and we should not pass on to the next generation something. In fact, if you live like a happy life, you should dream about that happy life even in your old age, and then your children will also look forward as an inspiration. People are always following us, so we don't have to follow that old age legacy of draining at the age of 70 and something. We should have something doing wonderful, maybe larger than life. We never know. It's the subconscious mind, and we have read it, and we all can create history, right? Yes, continue. Welcome the change.
Welcome the change. Old age is not a tragic occurrence. What we call the aging process is really change. It is to be welcomed joyfully and gladly, as each phase of human life is a step forward on the path which has no end. Man has powers which transcend his bodily powers. He has senses which transcend his five physical senses. Scientists today are finding positive, indisputable evidence that something conscious in man can leave his present body and travel thousands of miles to see, hear, touch, and speak to people, even though his physical body never leaves the couch on which it reclines. Man's life is spiritual and eternal. He need never grow old for life, or God cannot grow old. The Bible says that God is life. Life is self renewing, eternal, indestructible, and is a reality of all men.
Hmm. What a wonderful thing, na? Man has powers
Mhm.
which transcends his bodily powers. He has senses which transcends his five physical senses. So the entire book on the subconscious mind is actually teaching us to transcend in those five physical senses and go beyond of what is seen as a reality and to change to something which we desire to see, right? So then he is saying that scientists today are finding positive, indisputable evidence that something conscious in man can leave his present body and travel thousands of miles to see, hear, touch, and speak to people, even though his physical body never leaves the couch. See? So it can call me, I think this is something about astral travel, that you leave your body. And I was reading the book, this one, uh, autobiography of a yogi. In there, in that book, his guru, Lahivi Mahashya, it is very well mentioned that he was sitting, in a closed door, and Yoganand's father had wanted to meet somebody, and he asked that, go and ask my guru and tell him that I want to meet this man. And Ladi Mahasaya told Yoganand to sit there for some time, and he'll there, and he saw that he's sitting, like he's sitting in a state of meditative state, and after a few minutes he comes out of that state and he tells कि, in 15 minutes that person is coming. Yoganand was rapt to see, because in those times there were no phones, there was no communication, there was nothing. How can a man, have such things? How can a man do? So this is the our spiritual teachers had, much more uh, higher knowledge than us. So then, and actually in 15 minutes that person appeared, and he said, are you Yoganand's son? Sorry, are you Yoganand? Your father has sent me for something, and he was zapped at this. So this is the actual proof of that. And if you read that book, uh, Autobiography of a Yogi, it is amazing book to be read. Maybe in the near time future, we can pick up that book and study, right? So this is how I just came to recollect that and share it with you. Yes, continue. Evidence for survival. See,
Evidence for
man's life is
yeah.
spiritual and eternal. He need never grow old for life or God. Because ultimately one day we all have to leave this body. But that does not mean we should stop living life. We should stop exploring ourselves, our own powers, our own, going beyond the senses and creating something wonderful for ourselves and for the society. Yes, continue, Shruti. Evidence for survival.
Evidence for survival. The evidence gathered by the Cycle
Physically.
research societies, both in Great Britain and America, is overwhelming. You may go into any large metropolitan library and get volumes on the proceedings of the Physical Research Society based on findings of distinguished scientists on survival following so called death. You will find a startling report on scientific experiments establishing the reality of life after death. In the case of psychic survival of Howard Carrington, director of American Psychical Institute.
Hmm.
Shall I continue?
Yes, yes.
Life is. A woman asked Thomas Edison, the electrical wizard, Mr. Edison, what is electricity? He replied, Madam, electricity is. Use it. Electricity give is a name we give an invisible power which we do not fully comprehend, but we learn all we can about the principle of electricity and its uses. We use it in countless ways. The scientist cannot see an electron with his eyes, yet he accepts it as a scientific fact because it is only valid conclusion which coincides with his other experimental evidence. We cannot see life. However, we know we are alive. Life is, and we are here to express it in all its beauty and glory.
Hmm. See, so it is something, like we see that seen and unseen. So as electricity cannot be seen, but when it enters the bulb, it is visible. Similarly, the spirit cannot be seen, but when we use this body and the body is breathing, that means there is life, right? So as soon as the breath is left, the body is a dead body. So the spirit is gone. This is what he means, that that when you have that power in you, it is like a light bulb. When you shine up like a light bulb. Okay, continue.
Mind and spirit do not grow old. The Bible says, and this is life eternal, that they might know thee, the only true God. The man who thinks or believes that the early earthly cycle of birth, adolescence, youth, maturity, and old age is all there is to life is indeed to be pitied. Such a man has no anchor, no hope, no vision, and to him life has no meaning. This type of belief brings frustration, stagnation, cynicism, and a sense of hopelessness resulting in neurosis and mental aberrations of all kinds. If you cannot play a fast game of tennis or swim as fast as your son, or if your body has slowed down, or you walk with a slow step, remember, life is always clothing itself anew. What men call death is but a journey to a new city in another dimension of life. I say to men and women in my lectures that they should accept what we call old age gracefully. Age has its own glory, beauty, wisdom which belong to it. Peace, love, joy, beauty, happiness, wisdom, goodwill, and understanding are qualities which never grow old or die. Ralph Waldo Emerson, poet and philosopher, said, "We do not count a man's years until he has nothing else to count." Your character, the quality of your mind, your faith, and your conviction are not subject to decay.
See, your character, the quality of your mind, your faith, and your convictions are not subject to decay because these
Mm.
are the qualities we are going to carry forward in the next life. We are only
Yes.
going to leave the body. Otherwise, life is eternal. So these are the qualities, the character, the values, the morals we carry. These are only going to get forward, right? So that is why he's saying that if I say to men and women in my lectures that they should accept what we call a old age gracefully. Age has its own glory, beauty, and wisdom which belongs to it. Peace, love, joy, beauty, happiness, wisdom, goodwill, and understanding are qualities which never grow old or die. Exactly. So human qualities never grow old. It is only the body which is actually aging. So I think the qualities should not leave us as we age. So irritability, loss of memory, these are no words. There is nothing as such like this. So if you are mentally active and you love the life, you'll always remain active, and there is no Alzheimer's, there is no such diseases which are going to happen. It's only the great awareness and learning of our mind, right?
Yes.
Yes, continue, Shruti.
You are as young as you think you are. I give public lectures in Caxton Hall, London, England, every few years, and following one of these lectures, a surgeon said to me, "I'm 84 years of age. I operate every morning, visit patients in the afternoons, and write for medical and other scientific journals in the evening." His attitude was that he was as useful as he believed himself to be, and that he was as young as his thoughts. He said to me, "It's true what you said. Man is as strong as he thinks he is, and as valuable as he thinks he is." This surgeon has not surrendered to advancing years. He knows that he is immortal. His final comment to me was, "If I should pass on tomorrow, I would be operating on people in the next dimension, not with a surgeon's scalpel, but with mental and spiritual surgery." Surgery.
Wonderful. Wonderful. The
Beautiful.
surgeon has
Yes.
not surrendered to advancing years. See,
Mm.
so that means, even if you grow old, your art or the specialization you had is never going to, your skill is not going to go away. So your love for people, your love for sharing and caring will not go away. Only when we think we are useless or not valuable, we become. So that is what he's saying, as valuable as he thinks he is. So, I have a
Mm.
friend of mine who always says that, her father used to get up early in the morning and he used to go for walks also, but he used to do little bit of household work also. And I used to be very surprised with it that mostly men doing households, we hardly listen. Yeah. But I have she always used to say my father gets up early and he does, he at times prepares tea for my mom also. And then he often does like motor chaladi, and something else needs to be washed. Some vegetables he has brought. He brings the milk, vegetables early in the morning, and he washes them and keeps them. And I was literally surprised. Okay, now this is something good to hear. And no, so that means he says after, even after retirement, he's still the same and he keeps himself very active. Then he goes out for his walks, and then he enjoys his day, whatever and however, in good association with the people. And he has opened a book library also for people who want to read. And he's opened it like a library where everybody can come, and people of his age go and sit there and enjoy that time. And it was a wonderful phenomena, wonderful way of, spending time. So this is something good to learn. So, okay, we have a few seconds left. We'll join in the second session now and continue from there. Okay.